Hi, I'm Susan Kennard, and welcome to the Spiritual Awakener podcast. This is a podcast where I get to interview really cool people about their stories in their life, how they had spiritual awakenings, and how they helped the collective, which is you and I. I can't wait to introduce you to my next guest. But before I do that, if you have a spiritual awakening story that you want to share with my audience, please find me on susankennard.co.uk. Much love for now and enjoy this episode. So, I'd like to welcome my two next guests. This is Diogo. Is that how I say it, Diogo? Is that the
Yes,
best?
it's right.
Yes. And
Yes.
Katia. Is that right, Katia?
Sim,
Katia.
sim,
Yeah. It's hard for
sim.
me to explain these pronunciations, but I really want to introduce them because Catia has an amazing story to tell us. You know how we hear these stories about people and UFOs, and people say, oh, that's just not true. That's a load of rubbish. Is it possible that actually they are telling us the truth? Now, I've only had one other person on my podcast that had a UFO experience, and this is the second one. And I cannot wait for you to hear this story. So, welcome, both of you. We're going to have fun with this because Katia doesn't speak any English, or probably very little English. And so her amazing son has decided that he's going to be the voice for her. So this is going to be fun. I've never done this before. And let's just be open to every possibility. So let's just ask the first question, which is, what was your spiritual awakening, Kasia?
Okay, I'll tell her story. Uh, it all began in 1977 when she
Yeah.
was 19 years old,
Wow.
uh, 45 years ago, and now
Mhm.
she's 65 years old.
Mm.
So at that time, she was the eldest daughter of five, and she lived with her parents in Brasilia, the capital
Mhm.
of Brazil.
Yeah.
So every vacations they used to travel to another cities, to different beaches.
Yeah.
And then at this time they went to Piuma, a small city, a fishing village,
Mhm.
uh, almost inhabited and with very beautiful nature.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
so in the coast of Brazil. So she was there with her family and her cousins, and it was late afternoon, and she was preparing to take a shower for they wanna hang out and go to
Yeah.
another city. She
Mhm.
was already in bikinis and barefoot, and but then she felt desire to go to the beach, and she went
Mhm.
alone barefoot
Yeah.
to took a trail, earth ground trail to
Mhm.
the beach.
Yeah.
And when she stood in front of the ocean, she thought, why am I here? Maybe it's to see the sunset, I don't know.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then it was twilight, there was no stars in the sky, but she saw just one bright star,
Yeah. Mhm.
and she began to admire this one star. But and then this star became brighter and brighter, bigger and bigger, and came to her, very
Mhm.
close to her. And then
Yeah.
she doesn't feel fear or nothing, just watching all things happen.
Yeah.
And then she felt a energy field forming around her, entering from her left side and
Yeah.
closing her in like an
It's
energy
sort of
field.
like a capsule in a way. So I'm kind of visualizing this. So like a capsule, was it sort of almost like a capsule around her?
She just felt an energy field,
Mm.
and she felt that this energy field came
Eu senti.
from her left side and
Mm.
like encapsulated her. Yes,
Yeah.
Sim.
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
and then she just
Observando só.
watched, but a lot of informations very fast on her brain
Yeah.
and images and symbols, but
So like a
she
download,
couldn't.
kind of like a
Yes,
download of information. Yeah, yeah.
yes, very fast, but she couldn't understand at that moment in a conscious level what was
Yeah.
all that information, but she
Yeah.
took it. It was very fast. And then the energy field went out from the right to the left,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
this very bright star or light turned around. When it turned around, she realized that it was a starship, a very big starship.
Wow. And
And
what did it look like? What did the starship look like?
como que a nave
Redonda.
parecia?
E muito grande e enorme e redonda.
E qual
Deveria ser um prateado, porque não era uma cor exuberante. Se fosse uma outra cor forte, eu lembraria.
very big, round, and maybe it was silver, something like that.
Yeah.
Se fosse uma
Okay.
cor forte, eu lembraria.
Because if it was another color, I would know, but I think it was silver.
Yeah. Yeah. So the
And
light
then
was reflecting on it to make it look really bright.
Então a luz estava refletindo nela para parecer ela muito brilhante?
Não, a luz virou. Aí quando o foco saiu, por isso que eu vi a nave.
The light was on her side, but it was very bright, but didn't hurt her sight. She can
yeah,
see
she could
through.
still see. Yeah.
But when it turned around, the light turned around as well. So she could see what it was.
Wow.
The light
Incredible.
turned around.
And so did it make you scared, Catia?
No, she didn't feel anything.
Só observava.
Just watching.
Yeah, just
like
observing.
In a movie. Observing, yes, observing.
Yeah.
And then the starship took off very fast to the left in a zigzag movement and disappeared. And in the other side of the sky, the opposite side, on her right, it appears a huge red cross. She saw a huge red cross. And then it also disappeared.
And what was... Go ahead, Catia.
And she said that maybe it was another ship.
Mas sumiu.
But it
I was going to say, what was the Red Cross? Because obviously, ordinarily, if you're listening to this, we would be thinking a Red Cross is, I don't know, a symbol of something, but
she didn't know.
Yeah.
Maybe now she thinks that maybe it was another ship.
Yeah.
Mas sumiu.
But it also disappears. And then when it all ended,
eu queria ter ido embora.
She felt an enormous desire to have gone with them.
Wow. So almost like going home, I mean, many people don't know this on my podcast, but I actually work with the galactics as well. I work with the Palladians, the Acturians, the Syrians, all the different galactic beings, Ashtar from Ashtar Command. I work with them and channel information. And one of the things that they say is that there is an affinity with the galactics because we have been there. So we have actually been galactic beings. And so is it possible, definitely tell your mother that, yeah, but is it possible that, that there was that kind of remembering that she was actually one of them before? Yeah? Can you say that to her?
Ela tá falando que talvez você sentiu isso porque você lembrou que você faz parte de deles, desses seres, desse povo que foi lá.
Sim, com certeza, com certeza.
Yeah. She agrees, yes.
Yeah. That we are a being of light and that we've been everything and that's just our family, That's like our family coming to assist us. Yeah.
como se fosse sua família vindo te ajudar.
Yeah.
And then she sat down on the beach, on the sand, and cried a lot.
Yeah.
And after she cried a lot, she saw some fishermen come from the ocean, and she yelled to them, did you see it? Did you see it? But got no response.
Yeah.
Ninguém nem me ouviu.
So she went home.
Yeah.
And then before that experience, she used it to drink and smoke and didn't have any purpose on life.
Yeah.
But before that experience, she stopped drinking,
After
stopped
that
smoking.
experience, yeah.
After
Yeah.
that, yes.
Mm.
And for foi uma semana que você ficou com bem-estar?
Mais ou menos uns dias.
For
alguns
more or
dias.
less 1 week, she felt a great feeling of well-being, and everything was brighter, and the colors were more vivid, and everything vibrates more.
Parei de comer
Yeah.
carne também.
And she stopped eating meat as well.
Wow.
And it was
yeah.
her changing moment
shifting
on her
her
life.
shifting her consciousness
Shifting.
in that moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Something I want to ask. Sorry,
And
did
then
you
she
want to say?
went, and she said that, and then she went back to Brasilia.
Aí tudo mudou.
Sure. So something that I feel drawn to ask is that, many people have spiritual awakening experiences when there is something in their life that needs to shift really quickly. Can you just repeat that for her?
As pessoas têm,
Mhm.
ok, pessoas acordam espiritualmente muitas vezes quando tem alguma coisa na vida delas que tem que mudar radicalmente.
Mudou tudo.
Yeah. And I truly believe that our astrology and the science of our astrology leads us to the spiritual awakening for our mission. Just say that to you.
Ela acha que a astrologia leva a gente para a nossa despertar espiritual, para a nossa missão.
Sim, todos os caminhos levam.
So the Chiron aspect in our chart is the wounded healer. And so that part is around about the traumas that we have and the spiritual awakenings we have lead us to our mission, which seems to have happened with your mother.
Os traumas que a gente teve e a despertar que a gente tem leva a gente para nossa missão.
Sim, com certeza. São as dificuldades que a gente vai atrás para solucionar, leva.
She totally agrees with that, and that what led her to her spiritual path.
Yeah, absolutely.
After.
Yeah. And just tell her you've heard it, but my spiritual awakening was someone coming to me at night that had passed over, and that was my awakening, to see this person come into my room and try to let me know they were still here, and that led me to awaken my mediumship.
Porque a história dela, quando ela acordou espiritualmente, foi uma pessoa que tinha morrido, apareceu para ela. Aí que ela se deu conta desse lado espiritual. Essa foi a história dela, entendeu?
Bonito,
Ela
forte.
queria te contar.
Forte.
Yeah. In my early 20s. So you were 19 and I was in my early 20s.
Você tinha 19, ela estava nos 20 anos dela. Quando isso aconteceu, a história dela.
Yeah.
Bom.
Yeah. So the start of my spiritual awakening and the start of your spiritual awakening.
Foi como começou o dela e como começou o seu.
Interessante. Mas teve uma continuação tudo isso, fala para ela.
Sim. And then it happens a lot of things after that.
So tell me. So she went back to Brazil.
Brasilia. Yes, everything was in Brazil. Brasilia is the capital of Brazil. She went back to Brasilia, And then she started seeking for religions, answers. So she joined yoga groups, ashrams, and she spent 7 years in one line of yoga, then 7 years in another line of yoga, doing meditations, doing teaching, doing classes, like actively practicing and seeking and meditation and all of that. Seeking for her answers.
Yes.
But then in 1990, não, quando você largou tudo.
1977.
1997, she left all groups, everything, and went alone. Just by her, and just meditate with meditation.
Yeah.
To seeking her answers, not.
Yeah. So she was looking outside of herself for all of those years, very similar to me, reading books, going on courses, learning to be a medium, all of that stuff. And we look for answers, but the answers are within. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's exactly that.
Yeah.
And then she looked inside. And the answers became through her dreams, and also when she was awake. And then
amazing. And what sort of can I just ask you, because I'm thinking of my listeners here listening to this podcast, and what sort of information was given to her in the sense of answers for her? Because there would be people listening to this saying, oh my goodness, I've had, these experiences and I didn't realize that I was being given this information, but now they will. So what sort of things did you receive, Catia?
Qual era as respostas que você recebia?
Sempre buscando a causa do que eu estava sentindo, a origem, e eu via nos meus registros acássicos as lembranças do passado. E aí começou a formar um método, o que eles me foi passado, que eu comecei a enxergar que tinha um método.
She always asked for her present difficulties and things that she was having at that moment. And the answers came through her, through her dreams and etc. And the answers was always on past lives, past experiences, traumas, and she was able to solve all the cause of these troubles, like on her memories, even of past lives.
Amazing. E aí eu comecei a visualizar que existia um método. Aí eu começou a vir à tona um método que eles me passaram, né?
And then she became to develop a method for that. And it was all that information she had with the encounter started to came, and she started to develop this method.
Mas isso começou mais forte em 1999, quando a gente foi morar em Piúma.
But it all started very strong when we went back to Piúma to live there in 1999. Then all things came again, and very strong, and a lot of information, and she started to draw a lot of symbols and writing all day long without knowing time
just channeling it through.
Yes, a lot of things. And she will start to remember ancient civilizations, past lives, and channeling a lot of information. And and then she burned a lot of, she draw a lot of symbols, then burn them and draw a lot of symbols, and even forgetting to eat And when she realizes it was night,
Yeah.
E você ficava solto, né?
it was the process.
Yeah. Yeah. So the process, do you feel that it was having to come through you, Catia, that it needed to come through you so that, and what I'm getting a sense of is so that it was actually integrated as a coding within you. Does that make sense?
O processo teve que vir através de você, como se ele tivesse integrado em você.
Totalmente integrado, porque eu comecei a ver a conexão. Primeiro começou com os símbolos das runas, né? E a partir daí, a conexão do macro com o micro, que é tudo um processo só. O processo é nosso.
This came from what came from inside of her because it was there with the encounter, but now it emerged.
Coming forth. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And everything is connected. She's saying that the micro is the same of the macro.
I get that.
Like,
yeah.
Yes,
I
the inner universe is the same of the outer universe. So
I get that so much.
Yes.
Yeah, totally.
Eles me ajudaram a acordar esse mecanismo para religar o micro e o macro.
They help me for me to awake this mechanism to make the reconnect with the inner and the outer universe.
Wow. Yeah.
Começou com as runas e foram mudando na medida que eu entendendo o processo. Os símbolos foram mudando.
It all started with the Futhark runic alphabet. She saw this, the runes came out of the ocean, and she started drawing symbols, etc.
Yeah.
But then these symbols changed and evolved, and now they are completely different symbols. But these symbols are the tools for you to do the reconnection, and there's it all transform it into a method and into a book. But she was not she's not wanted to write a book. She came out of this method and started helping people. But when every time she wanted to help someone, she had to tell all the process for
the whole
person.
story.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just the method.
Yeah.
The story of the starship, that's not
no, but the whole story of the method, like how
how it works.
Yeah.
So she realized, okay, I will write it down and I give to the people and they read, and then we can work. So
Catia, is this the book that you want to send me to read?
Yes.
Is this? Yeah.
Yes. The book is the method, but it's a method for you to do for yourself.
Oh,
without
fantastic.
Gurus, without middlemen, without masters. And it's a tool for you to use, and the answers are inside of yourself, and you is your guide. And it is for you to open your internal drawers and read your cellular memory, your Akashic records, and it's all the answers are there inside of you on your memories.
It's the access, though, isn't it, Georgia? It's the accessing it, isn't it? So this is like a tool to access it for yourself, which is amazing.
Yes. Yeah.
Explica para ela que o universo é vibracional, que esse eu aqui está numa vibração. O eu sou numa vibração mais sutil, o eu atemporal no outro mais sutil, o eu cósmico no outro mais sutil. E o objetivo do trabalho é religar todos esses eus numa consciência só.
The aim of this work is to reconnect yourself here with your other selves, higher selves, cosmic selves,
your multidimensional self.
Eles têm as respostas.
Yes, because they have the answers and they are you as well, but in higher frequencies.
I
So
get that.
you,
Perfect.
yes,
Mm.
you reconnect with them, and you have your own answers, and you
Tudo.
have your story, you have everything
Sua
from
alma é
you,
seu guia.
and your soul is your guide. No one can be your guide.
Your GPS, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
And if you are
absolutely.
aligned with you, yourself, your higher self, your
Yeah.
timeless self, everything goes the way it should be.
E cada
Exactly.
coisa que você transcende, você muda de faixa de vibração e aquele nível de faixa de vibração deixa de existir, você muda seu destino.
So when you seek the cause of a trauma or
That was
some
my question. I was
difficulty,
gonna ask you this. So before I do that, that was my next question. My guides were telling me. But before I do that, could you just say where people can get the book? It will be in the show notes, and it will be on all of the information on the podcast. But can you just say it for people now on this video?
the book is
This recording.
available at sale on fellowshipoftherunes.com.
Okay, fellowshipoftherunes.com. Okay, fantastic. Great.
/book. Yes.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
the name of the book is Runes, the Cryptology of the Soul.
Runes, the Cryptology of the Soul. So if you're listening to this or you're watching this on the YouTube video, then that's where you go if you want to buy this book. I'm blessed because I'm having it as a gift, but you guys can go over there and buy it yourself. So yes, my question, because as you know, I'm a spiritual scientist and I work with trauma. Trauma is my specialism. So say someone comes to you and they have a physical problem. Okay, so maybe they've had this physical problem all of their life, or it's just happened upon them. How could they, because I think, you know, people listening to this may have physical problems, dis-ease, whatever it might be.
Sim.
How can this help them? If you could just help us with that.
Como, por exemplo, uma pessoa vem com problema físico,
Os
como
cara
que
causa.
o trabalho pode ajudar, né?
O trabalho está dentro da lei que rege o universo. E uma das leis que rege o universo é causa e efeito. Começa respondendo isso para ela.
Okay, she will tell and I will translate in little by little.
Perfect.
First of all, this work is inside of the laws that govern the universe.
Uma das leis é causa e efeito.
One of these laws is cause and effect.
Mm-hmm.
Qualquer dificuldade do presente tem que ser questionada a causa.
Any difficulty of the present, you have to question the cause.
Mm-hmm.
A causa está no passado na sua memória celular.
The cause is on the past, in your cellular memory.
Sua dificuldade aqui é efeito. A dificuldade que você está tendo agora é efeito. Desculpa.
So what I heard, but it just cut out a tiny bit, was the cause is held in the cellular memory. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yes. I agree with that. Yeah. Okay.
And every difficulty of the present is effect
from the cellular memory. Yeah.
Aí esse símbolo...
it's effect from something that happened to you. Yes.
Então,
on the past.
Os símbolos vão te ajudar a trazer a causa e o seu eu atemporal para cá.
These symbols, this tool, this method will help you to bring the cause and open and work on the cause of the problems and bring it to the present moment.
E trabalhar isso, tá? É uma terapia, é autoterapia.
And when you clean this and you work on the cause and clean this, you bring this energy to you, renewed energy and clean energy to you, and you raise your frequency, and all that that would happen if you didn't clean that. All that would happen will not happen anymore, and you change your destiny. You change your frequency, you rise your frequency and change your destiny.
I agree. And
Porque,
so thinking about what happened when you were 19, Kasia, was if that hadn't have happened, let's talk about spiritual waking, if that hadn't have happened at 19, that was obviously destiny. But if that hadn't have happened, then you would have smoked, you would have drunk, you would have, yeah, that part of your journey would have stayed on that timeline, right?
Se nada tivesse acontecido com você quando você tinha 19 anos, você ia continuar naquela linha do tempo lá de
sim,
bebendo,
sim,
fumando, isso e
sim,
aquilo.
Yeah,
sim, sim.
yeah,
Mas na minha história, isso tinha uma causa para acontecer. Nada é por acaso no universo, entendeu? Isso
Yes,
tinha que
it
acontecer.
had to be, it had to happen. Nothing is by chance on
I
the
agree.
universe.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're listening to this and you're like, well, that was really bad, that happened to me, that shouldn't have happened to me, I have this, whatever it might be, just think about that and say, well, actually, maybe if you're listening to this podcast, this was your opportunity to actually heal that story, that cellular memory, that frequency. And this is all perfect. So not that it's bad or good, but just that it's your opportunity now to heal that and raise your frequency to the next part of your journey. And it is massively about mission. You know, if you're listening to this and you've kind of lost your way or you're not sure where you're going, then this is your opportunity to say, actually, I am here for a really important reason. And it is time for me to raise my frequency and align to truly why I'm here in the world. Carry on. Really exciting. Yeah, carry on.
Yes.
Mm.
Pode continuar falando do método.
Diz a ela que o método é uma regressão consciente, porque quando você questiona a dificuldade, esse eu aqui que está questionando. Quando a janelinha se abre, você traz a causa para cá, quem está fazendo isso é seu eu temporal, aquele eu que você conecta quando está sonhando.
This method is like a
Regressão consciente.
conscious regression.
Mm.
Like, because when you bring this memory,
Não, quando você questiona a dificuldade, é esse eu aqui.
when you question your difficulties of the present, you
Esse eu
working
aqui.
with this self here.
Mhm.
But when
Quando quem pega lá é o seu eu atemporal, aquele eu que você conecta quando está dormindo.
but who brings this memory? It's your timeless self that you connect when you are dreaming.
Aí você fica com dois tempos aqui, acontece uma dobra de tempo.
Then you
Pra
are
trabalhar.
when you do that, there's no time limits,
São dois
space-time
tempos.
limits that
Yeah,
you like.
just
Pode
present.
falar.
São dois tempos que acontece quando você faz essa conexão e a janela se abre. Abre a nível de DNA.
A window, space-time windows open, and there's no limits. You can go press lives and etc. On the course.
São dois tempos.
And so you might, so if you do this, you might get your answers in your dreams. You might get your answers in just a waking moment, and it's just a thought that comes to you or a picture. Is that right? Yeah.
Quando você faz isso, a resposta pode vir no sonho ou quando você está
Sim,
acordado,
sim,
no
o tempo
site.
todo. Começa a ser uma coisa contínua. Essa consciência aqui começa a se acoplar mais nesse tempo.
Yes, and with practice, it became more natural, and you start to reconnect with your selves, and it
São tempos diferentes num local só, numa memória acordada.
and you start to have your answers and insights even awake.
Yeah. And you know, one of the things is set the intention. So if you're listening to this and you're like, well, I don't know how to do that, you can set the intention. You do this method and you set the intention that when you wake up in the morning, that you have the answer. So that is a really good thing to do because we know that we create our own reality. And so if we set that intention, I'm expecting an answer. Yeah. So it's that kind of working with your soul, isn't it? As well as working with this human sensor we are.
Yes, but in the method, you have to question. You have to write and question your difficulties of the present. I want to work on that.
Yes.
I want to know why I'm feeling like this.
Yes.
And ask and write down, and with the symbols, they are tools for you to reach the answers. So you do like a specific programming for yourself, like you write it down and see the symbols and do your self-initiation.
Yeah.
Only by yourself.
Yeah.
And then when try to write down your dreams and be aware of your dreams, be aware of your thoughts, and with discipline and time, because nothing is easy, and you must practice.
Yeah.
And you start to realign and reconnect with your other selves, and the answers started to came.
Isso também ajuda na união dos dois lados do cérebro.
And it helps for you to reunite the two sides of your brain as well.
E as runas hoje em dia, esses símbolos hoje em dia estão na conexão da energia que me foi passada. É uma tradução da energia, é uma decodificação do tudo que me foi passado.
And these symbols, these tools, they are like the translating of all that energy that she received
46 anos atrás.
46 years ago. And
this
they
is
are in the
what I
same
wanted
tool.
to ask. Yeah, because this is perfect, because we're just bouncing off each other, because my guides just drew me to ask this question. So when we go back to that moment of that coming, you know, you having that experience, the beautiful galactic beings giving you that memory, you know, telling you exactly this is what you're here for, even though you didn't know that categorically in that moment, actually that was that seeding of the remembering of your mission. And so can I just ask, do you know which beings they were?
Você sabe quem eram os seres daquela nave?
Não sei.
She didn't know.
O que eu sei é que a energia que me foi passada, ela é a tradução do movimento dos táquions do universo.
What I know is the energy that was passed to me. They are the translation of the energy of the tachyons.
Que é a energia livre do universo.
It's the free energy of the universe.
Yeah. Wow. So it was almost, would you say, just for people listening to this,
do universo.
that it was like
da evolução
a collective? It was like a collective energy coming through.
É uma energia coletiva vindo para você.
É um mecanismo da evolução do universo.
This is the mechanism of the evolution of the universe.
Aqui e fora.
Inside and outside, it's the same.
É a leitura do universo.
It's the reading of the universe.
Da evolução.
The evolution.
De tudo que existe.
Of everything that exists.
So Catia, what do you do every day now? So you've written this book, which sounds incredible, and I can't wait to experience it. What do you do every day? Do you see clients? Do you speak at events? Obviously you do podcasts, but what do you do? How do you use this?
Como que você usa esse método? Você atende pessoas, você dá palestras?
Eu vivo isso e estou começando agora que a gente está começando a divulgar. Eu vivo isso.
I live this process
internamente.
Inside of me.
E quero começar, e estou começando a divulgar agora.
And I'm starting to spread this now, this method.
Agora.
Now.
Porque agora ele terminou.
Only now, 45 years later, I was able to finish and decode all that information.
So we've had this great awakening in the world. So we're recording this on the 5th of July, 2022. And over the last 2 years, we've had a great awakening. So do you feel that, so yeah, thank you. My guides are saying, so we went within and we started to look at ourselves if we hadn't done it before. So do you feel, Catia, that the reason why you're bringing this in now is obviously divinely, universally timed, but do you feel it's so people really remember that they can heal themselves?
A gente está num momento de grande acordar, né? Despertar uns 2 anos para cá, um monte de gente despertando. Você acha que isso que você está levando para o pessoal é para lembrar eles que eles podem curar a eles mesmos?
Sim, sim, sim. E fazer a reconexão, limpeza de DNA e reconexão com a sua estrela no cosmos, com a sua origem cósmica. Sim.
Yes, and for everyone to reconnect with your own cosmic origin star.
E a limpeza de
Yeah.
DNA original.
And to clean our DNA to its original form.
I really get that, and I totally agree with you. And I feel as well that many people are choosing to leave because the frequency is too high now for them. So they chose not to be here at this time. Does that make sense to your mum?
Tem muita gente embora daqui porque a vibração do planeta está aumentando.
A Matrix está se dissolvendo. A Matrix está se dissolvendo.
Yes, and the matrix is dissolving.
Yeah.
Because, yes.
Yeah. So the dis-ease, we call it, that is being presented on this planet at this time, the within, without, dis-ease. What do you feel this is about?
O que você acha dele? Yeah. I can't understand. This is.
Oh, disease. Disease.
Oh, disease.
Yeah. I
que
call
você
it
acha das
dis-ease.
Ok, ok.
Mm.
O que você acha das doenças?
São lixos no nosso DNA que foram jogados, né? Por outros seres. E isso está sendo limpo.
The disease, illness, everything, it's like garbage or that was stored on our DNA, and now we are cleaning this.
Yeah.
Pode falar que foi por outros seres?
Sim.
Other beings like draconians, like they did it to our DNA, but now we are rising our frequency and they can't reach us anymore.
So do you feel that the ones that are leaving, so for example, my dad passed away suddenly in January of this year, and when he came through to me, he said that it was his time. It was his time to go at this time. But he went after having the injection. Yeah. I have to be careful about how I say that because of YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah. So the injection, I just say it that way. So after that, he actually passed away. He went over to spirit. Yeah.
Ela acha que igual tem muita gente indo embora agora, né?
Sim.
Aí ela falou também que o pai dela, depois de tomar a injeção do negócio, foi, né?
Uhum.
Aí eu não entendi muito bem. Acho que o que você fala sobre isso?
Pergunta mais. Fala que você não entendeu direito a pergunta e a gente pode responder. Esses símbolos ajudam na limpeza de DNA e de tirar todos esses chips draconianos. A gente se limpa, né? Agora, pede para ela explicar melhor o que ela quer saber.
Okay. What specifically do you wanna?
Fala do
Question. Okay. She said that this work is for removing like these
chips.
Like energy. Yes.
E esse coisa fabricada, ele já estava no nosso DNA colocado, mas ele está saindo.
And she said that all this thing that happened with this,
Yeah.
all this thing, it was already inside of us and it's living. Because when something is there and you didn't, you have to shake it for it to live. Did
That
you
makes
get
sense
it?
to me. Yes, because I've noticed, and this is just what I've noticed in my work with people, is that those who took the decision to have that, they have gone on a really deep healing journey. Yeah. Of their physical body, of their emotions, really aligning to who they are spiritually, or they pass over. So it's like you either go or you choose to stay and understand more about who you are and heal those childhood, traumas, the parts of us that, haven't felt worthy, all of this stuff, and at a DNA cellular level. So I totally get what you're saying. Yeah. Mhm.
Ela falou que realmente quem tomou ou passou por uma transformação, uma cura bem grande, ou foi dessa para melhor. Mas de alguma forma tá se trabalhando, entendeu?
Diz para ela que o que acontece agora já é a dissolução de tudo que eles fizeram, que o mais importante é a gente se limpar. Aí a gente vai saindo das vibrações deles.
Everything that's happening now, it's already the dissolution of these beings and everything. We have the thing that we have to do now, it's raise our frequency for us to don't reach us anymore and raise the frequency of the planet. That's and it's already happening.
Yeah.
A gente se limpando vai mudando a frequência do planeta e eles vão sumir.
And each one healing your own self, and raising your frequency, the frequency of the planet will raising as well, and they will just disappear.
That is what I feel.
Da densidade. Eles precisam da densidade, eles precisam do medo, entendeu? Para se alimentar da gente.
These beings, they need the low frequency, they need fear, for they feed on us, they suck our energy.
Yeah, I agree. So really the key thing about this, and this is what I teach as well, is that as we heal ourselves, as we remember who we are, and as we raise our frequency, we are bringing our light stronger. So is the planet, and so within, without. So that absolutely makes total sense to me. Yeah. Wow. What an amazing interview. What an amazing interview.
Que bom. Obrigada por nos deixar falar.
Thank you for the opportunity, and we like it a lot as well.
Can I ask one more thing? I don't normally do my podcast for this long, but I felt really strongly not to book anything afterwards, because I thought, well, maybe we can do it with the translation, and it's actually worked beautifully. I have a question, and this may be for my audience as well, is can children use these codes to heal themselves?
Esse método serve para crianças?
A partir do momento que a pessoa pode entender, ou ela quiser ensinar para alguém, pode, mas se for alguém ligado a ela pode trabalhar.
Não, se uma criança consegue.
Sim, pode, para qualquer um, é para qualquer um. Entendendo, sabendo como passar, pode, claro que pode. Eu fazia com você desde pequeno. Fala com ela.
Mas a criança entendendo?
Sim, porque você foi entendendo aos poucos. Ela pode passar para uma criança na proporção que a criança entender. Tipo, o que você sonhou? O que eu fiz com você a vida inteira? Fala com ela.
Yes, but you have
It's
to
so sweet
adapt
to
it.
see you two
for-
talking to each other. I have no idea what you're saying.
You have to
Go on.
adapt for the knowledge of that child. But yes, for example, she was saying like what
Tempo
I
todo.
did to you. I always asked what was your dreams and
Yeah.
bringing awareness. And yes, if you adapt and
Sim.
it can be used with children as well, no problem.
Sempre
So
fiz isso com você.
a parent can assist, obviously. Yeah.
Yes, with the assist of a parent, it's possible.
Yeah, amazing. Wow. So have you had anybody that has said, well, I was born with this, I don't know, problem with my leg or my spine or my something or other, you know, one arm or whatever. Have you had anyone that said, literally, I've healed myself from something I was born with?
Tem alguém que você curou de algo que nasceu assim, alguma doença física, alguma coisa?
Primeiro eu cuidei de mim, né? Eu tinha muita coisa para arrumar. De nascença?
Não, alguma doença, alguém.
Sim, pânico, câncer. E primeiro a mim mesma.
First of all, I healed myself, but there was
Câncer,
one person that had breast cancer,
pânico,
panic,
a origem do pânico.
like panic attacks.
Yeah.
It's there. Oh yes.
Yeah.
Pânico, magia negra.
Magic, black magic.
Oh, see, yeah.
Também.
Spells, things like that.
Dá para.
She helped.
Trabalhando a causa,
many
se cura
people.
tudo.
Because when you work the cause and you see the origin, the source of the things, you can.
Mas sempre é a pessoa que vê. Eu ajudo a pessoa a ver.
But I help the person to see, and the person who does the
Eu
job.
ensino a trabalhar.
I teach the person how to work with the tools, but the person himself.
Eu não leio para a pessoa, eu ajudo ela a ler.
I don't read the answers for the people. I help them read.
A ler.
Amazing. Fantastic. Well, we could just talk for hours, and I want you to stay on after I end this call, by the way. But is there anything else that you want to share with my audience? I mean, you can definitely get this book, guys. Listen to this and, you know, enjoy the process of remembering that you can heal yourself, which is what I talk about all the time. But Catia, do you have a last word that you want to share with my audience about healing themselves?
Tem alguma mensagem final que você quer dar para a audiência dela sobre se curar a si mesmo, das pessoas?
A principal mensagem é que a pessoa tenha disciplina, que isso não é para acreditar, isso é para fazer. Isso é ter disciplina, é como uma academia, que você entra, você não tem que acreditar que aquilo ali vai te ajudar. Você tem que pegar e fazer o exercício. Tudo é um exercício, nada vem de graça.
The principal thing that I want to say is that everyone has to have discipline and don't have to believe, have to do. And everything requires discipline and effort.
What, sorry?
Não tem que acreditar, e é tipo assim, se você tiver disciplina, é como uma academia, que você entra, você não pode só olhar para os aparelhos, você tem que pegar e trabalhar com eles. Mesma coisa os símbolos.
Okay, this work is like when you enter in a gym for workout, for example. If you only watch the weights, nothing will happen. You have to take them and exercise. So everything requires practice and dedication.
Toma conta, não dê a ninguém o seu poder.
Don't give anyone your power.
Yeah, I love that.
Yes, and
faça por você.
Do for yourself.
Não espere milagres.
Don't wait for miracles.
Yes, you are the
Faça
miracle.
acontecer. Yeah.
Yes, and you are responsible for your destiny.
Yeah, I get that. That's exactly how I speak. I love that. Thank you so much, you two, for being here. It's been an amazing podcast. I mean, just enlightening, really. And if you're listening to this and you've had this spiritual awakening that maybe happened to you when you were a child, maybe you saw an UFO, or maybe you had an awakening in the night when someone came to you, or maybe you just had something that was so dramatic that it left you feeling, my goodness, that changed my life. Please contact me and let me know, because these stories really help others to remember who they are. And it's my job to help you understand that you are your own inner healer. And the people that I have on my podcast are just incredible souls. I'm sure you'll agree this is one of the best podcasts that we've ever had. So thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for listening, and look forward to seeing you on the next episode of The Spiritual Awakener.